it's a very big deal. It could be $1 trillion deal, it could be whatever, but it's rare earths and other things.
We want to put 100% tariff on Tesla cars. You pick a fight with Canada, we're going to fight back.
I mean, that's what I do. I do deals. My whole life is deals.
While Trump was consumed with brokering deals over Ukraine and Russia, Canada delivered a seismic blow to the U.S. economy by targeting one of its biggest industries. A shocking 100% tariff on Tesla and a bold pivot in trade alliances have left Washington scrambling for answers. This is a game-changing shift in global power dynamics with far-reaching consequences.
Stand back while he takes shots at our country. So our move now is we want to put 100% tariff on Tesla cars.
Tesla has always been seen as more than just a car company. It's a symbol of American innovation. But Canada's recent decision to slap a 100% tariff on Tesla has sent shockwaves through both the auto industry and global markets. This isn't just about cars. It's about power, economics, and sending a message.
His close relationship with Donald Trump appears to be hurting Tesla's car sales, which were down 17% last year in Australia, and they dropped by more than 30% last month.
Overnight, Tesla's prices in Canada skyrocketed by an eye-watering $5,000 to $40,000 per vehicle, effectively pricing out all but the wealthiest buyers. For a country like Canada, where electric vehicles are supposed to be a cornerstone of future policy, this move is unexpected and a strategic blow aimed squarely at the U.S. And Canadians are all in to respond to the U.S. In February 2025 alone, Volkswagen's ID.4 sales in Canada saw a 30% surge, while Tesla's Model Y sales declined by 22% in the same month.
Our retaliation is going to be a lot more surgical than that. I have proposed a 100% tariff on all Teslas.
So, why Tesla? Why not Ford, GM, or even Chrysler? The answer lies in symbolism. Tesla represents the cutting edge of American industry, a crown jewel of innovation, and a leader in the green energy movement.
Tesla sales in Europe have taken huge hits recently, down 40 or 50% or more in the largest markets in Europe.
By targeting Tesla specifically, Canada is making a statement. The old trade dynamics no longer apply. Canada has options now, with European EV brands poised to fill the gap Tesla's pricing left behind. Brands like BMW, Volkswagen, and even newer Chinese players are ready to grab market share, leaving Tesla scrambling to respond. And let me tell you, it's part of a larger game plan. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has turned what could have been a defensive trade strategy into a bold offensive.
Any steel coming into the United States is going to have a 25% tariff.
What about aluminum, sir?
Aluminum too.
When Trump imposed tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum under the guise of national security, Trudeau retaliated against them with counter tariffs. And Canada's counter tariffs hit where it hurt, targeting U.S. exports deeply ingrained in American industries and communities.
The European Union, it was very clear from Trudeau's arrival here in Brussels that they feel very warmly towards the EU.
The shift was methodical. Canada signed long-term agreements with the European Union under CETA, Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, giving Canadian goods preferential access to one of the largest markets in the world. Deals with Asian countries quickly followed. This was Trudeau's way of telling Washington, Canada doesn't need you as much as you think it does.
The American people would suffer the most, and this happens in more than one way. First, the consumers will pay more for imported goods.
But there's more to this power play than just economics. Canada's actions highlight a growing rift between two neighbors who, for decades, were seen as inseparable. The Tesla tariff, in particular, feels like a deliberate effort to challenge the U.S. on one of its most iconic industries, electric vehicles.
I told them that I want the equivalent, like $500 billion worth of rare earth, and they've essentially agreed to do that.
And let's not forget the political undertones. While Trump has been busy negotiating with Russia over Ukraine, trying to broker what he calls the best deal for both sides, Canada's trade policy has become a tool for asserting its independence on the global stage. This isn't just about trade, it's about reshaping alliances and ensuring Canada's interests are protected in an increasingly volatile world.
There will be production stoppages at plants across North America as these supply chains are turned on their head.
Canada's 100% tariff on Tesla has sent shockwaves through the auto industry and financial markets. Investors reacted immediately, with Tesla's stock price plummeting 12% within 48 hours of the announcement. This drop wiped out over $80 billion in market value, a brutal blow for a company already facing pressure from increased competition in the EV market. The ripple effects didn't stop there. Tesla's ambitious EV growth projections for North America are now at risk, leaving its $50 billion joint ventures in limbo. While Tesla's troubles dominate headlines, a deeper and potentially more devastating issue is unfolding behind the scenes: Canada's control over critical energy exports to the US. Few realize the extent of this dependency. Canada supplies 3.7 million barrels of oil daily to the US, accounting for 51% of total US oil imports. In addition, Canada is the top exporter of natural gas to the US and provides 20% of the uranium used to fuel American nuclear power plants. These numbers aren't just significant, they're staggering.
Government's talking about it. It's businesses signing deals that involve real money because they know that this is going to be needed in the coming years.
Meanwhile, Europe has emerged as an eager alternative market for Canadian energy. In January 2020, Canada signed a deal to supply liquefied natural gas, LNG, to Germany, offsetting the energy deficit caused by reduced Russian gas imports. This deal alone represents a $10 billion annual trade shift and sends a clear signal to Washington. Canada's energy exports are not guaranteed to flow south of the border. What does this mean for the US? It's not just about higher prices at the pump or a colder winter for northern states. Energy shortages could impact everything from data centers to food production, creating ripple effects across the economy. While the US scrambles to broker peace deals in Ukraine and stabilize Eastern Europe, its own energy security is hanging by a thread.
And Canada is very excited to be part of this net zero transition world and be that energy supplier.
Canada, once viewed as a steadfast partner, is leveraging its resources to carve out a more independent and strategic position on the global stage. For the US, this should be more than a wake-up call. It's a clear sign that the game's rules are changing. Another transformative alliance is reshaping the global balance of power: the partnership between Canada and Europe on critical minerals. This collaboration challenges the US and China, which have long dominated the supply chain for essential resources like lithium, cobalt, and nickel. By early 2025, this partnership had evolved into a robust framework prioritizing sustainable mining practices and supply chain transparency. This is more than just a trade deal for Canada, it's a geopolitical statement.
Nickel's done better than some of the others. It's down about 4% off of that peak, whereas some like zinc are down 7 or 8%. So, we'll see what happens.
Canada holds 15% of the world's known nickel reserves and is one of the top 10 producers of cobalt. Lithium, often called white gold for its role in EV batteries, is also abundant in Canadian deposits. The EU, which imports 98% of its critical minerals, has found in Canada a reliable partner for its ambitious Green Deal. For Canada, this partnership goes beyond resource extraction. It includes investments in processing and refining facilities on Canadian soil. In December 2023, a joint Canada-EU initiative resulted in a $5 billion lithium processing plant breaking ground in Quebec, the largest of its kind outside China.
I hear that he's coming on Friday. Certainly it's okay with me if he'd like to, and he would like to sign it together with me.
Although Donald Trump is making a deal with Ukraine for critical mineral export, but what's shocking is how the US appears to be losing out on this critical minerals race. While Canada and Europe solidify their supply chains, Trump's administration remains fixated on tariffs and short-term economic wins. The US's failure to invest in domestic processing capabilities has left it dependent on China for over 80% of its critical mineral refining.
That would be something that could be closer aligned, that would come with EU membership if that were to ever happen. And also goods and services could be quicker.
This alliance also has significant implications for clean energy and tech dominance. Without access to affordable, ethically sourced minerals, the U.S. risks falling behind in industries like EVs, solar energy, and advanced manufacturing. Meanwhile, Canada and Europe are not only catching up, but positioning themselves as leaders in the green industrial revolution. So now, there is a growing perception that the U.S. is becoming isolated in a rapidly changing global economy. Allies like Canada are no longer content with playing second fiddle to Washington. Instead, they're forging new paths, creating alliances, and capitalizing on opportunities that don't include the U.S. So, what will this U.S.-Canada trade war take us towards? Subscribe to the channel to get more information on geopolitics.